Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Moments away, Jason Contreras, homesteader. But first, Holly.
Are you worrying about your plant growth? Provides your plants with what they need to grow to their potential. Simple Grow offers 100% organic worm castings at simplegrow.com. Unlike other worm casting products, when you order from Simple Grow, you are getting 100% worm castings, not filler plus castings. Promote ideal soil structure and aeration with Simple Grow all natural, odor-free worm castings. There is only one ingredient, worm castings. No chemicals or additives will seep into your food and doesn't smell like other fertilizers. For indoor and outdoor use, you can buy by the bag, bundle, ton, or truckload at simplegrow.com.
Holly, let's go to the Proclamation Hotline, brought to you by Proclamation Goods, and bring in our guest for this week.
Jason Contreras is passionate about growing food and knowing where his food comes from. Him and his wife live on a homestead in North Carolina with their family. They document their homesteading journey on YouTube and social media to share for all to learn. Welcome to the program, Jason.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your day, not only to educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. And I'll start with this question for you, Jason. How did you get into homesteading? Was that something that was instilled in you as a young child, or you found it later on in life?
All right. Yeah, we found it very much later on in life. For us, it really started 12 years ago. I had just turned 30, and I was diagnosed with cancer. And that kind of just, with that diagnosis, that was just totally unexpected. And that just from there, it kind of totally changed our mindset of like, okay, maybe we should start, eating healthy and being active and figuring that out. What does that look like? Because neither my wife or I grew in farming or had chickens growing up or anything like that. Didn't know anybody had a garden in the backyard at all because we're from the Los Angeles area. So we lived in the city our whole lives and didn't know any of this stuff. And so from that time I was diagnosed with cancer, I did 6 months of chemo and that was it. They told me I was in remission. In my last oncology appointment, I asked her, okay, what now? What do I need to do? And she's like, well, just go back to your normal life. Like almost like it never happened. And so from there, we decided just to take our own health in our own hands and figure out how to eat healthy. From there, it grew into, maybe we should learn how to grow our own food. And from there, we bought some plastic starts and put them in our little backyard that we had at the time and try to figure out, like, how does that process work? Because we really didn't know. And so after growing that first tomato, it was so satisfying, to grow your first food. And from there, it just snowballed into where we're at today. Basically, we ended up selling most of our stuff in LA. We sold our house and we just said, you know what, we're going to go find some land somewhere and we're going to try to grow as much food as we possibly can and to be healthy and to do it together as a family. And that's what we did. And it took about 6 years after I was diagnosed with cancer to finally, selling our stuff and living minimally. And we left and we moved to the mountains of North Carolina and we started on a 1.5 acre homestead. And from there, we've been here over 6 years now. And, we learned a lot of things ever since then. And this year we just moved to 14 acres and we're kind of starting over on larger land.
Well, that's definitely very interesting and a great journey, or a great turnout of a journey. Why did you move from California across the country to North Carolina as opposed to maybe just moving somewhere, different on the West Coast?
Right. Yeah, we tried. We tried to stay on the West Coast. We looked, I told you we sold our house and for the year after we sold it, we traveled around looking for land and everything was just so expensive and out in California, especially. And we couldn't find anything. And also at the same time, I wanted out of my office job. I didn't want to be in an office anymore. I wanted to work with my hands. I wanted to work for ourselves. My wife too, she was in the fashion industry. She got tired of being in traffic for 3 hours, each way, coming there and home. And we just were done with it. We're tired of that life. And so we knew a couple of people that moved out this way and would tell us about the area, and we're like, okay, let's go visit. And so we went to go visit, and just being here and just the, two people that we kind of knew, we felt a good sense of community here. In just a short time, we just visited, but it was, I think it's also because it was so much different in California. There's no droughts, it's very green. A lot of like-minded people doing this, a lot of homesteading type, small scale farming, a lot of that going on here. And that's what we fell in love with.
Well, what is one of the biggest challenges you face transitioning to a homestead life, and how did you overcome that challenge?
Yeah, it was everything was a challenge. Everything's been a challenge. Because, we didn't grow up doing this, and especially, we're used to that West Coast weather. That's another challenge.
Right.
It's totally different than over here, out east. It's a little bit more humid. We're in the mountains now, and it's just different. So one way is that we learned how to, I felt like we had to relearn how to grow food because it's a different environment. And one reason that how I did that was I volunteered at a local farm, and I worked for free. And I just said, I don't want to get paid or nothing. I just want to be here and help you guys out. And I want to learn some stuff. I want to learn how you guys farm and what you grow and when you plant and certain foods. And that's what I did for first 2 years of living here. I would basically work there for free or part-time, and I just learned a ton, and that's how I overcome the growing food part. But also, just working the land in general, it was just so difficult. And just by doing the things and meeting our neighbors and meeting people in the community, they've been super helpful of helping us through all that. Also, we wanted to work for ourselves, making a living. That was a challenge too. That's been a challenge because I've always worked for somebody. And it's one of those things where it comes down to how bad do you want this lifestyle?
Right.
Was I willing to go, deliver pizzas? Was I willing to do certain things just to try to be as mostly home as I possibly could? And slowly we've been trying to figure it out. And that was one of my goals, is not to go back to an office job, and I've never been back since. Another thing was challenging when I first moved out here was finding our community. That's huge. Community is important for all of us, because we can't do it at all. And when we moved here, we didn't have any family. We didn't really know anybody. And one way we thought, how do we find our community? We don't know the area, everything's new. And so we thought farmers markets, right? Let's go to a farmer's market. Those are where our people are, right? Those are the people that are growing food or we like growing food, and we're going to find some friends there. And that's what we did. We went to every single every time we went to the farmer's market nearby, we went. And even though maybe we didn't buy anything, but we would go and show our face and hang out and shake hands with the local farmers and become friends. And next thing you know, we're getting invited to their potlucks, and we're having our own potlucks, and we're just, creating community that way. And so that was a good way of finding our community, was doing it that. And also, I think it was important to patience, just learn to I guess enjoy the process. You got to trust the process. Another challenge was larger animals. Everyone says start slow, start small, and that's what we did. We had chickens, we maybe started with 4 chickens, egg-laying chickens, and then we kind of grew from there. Okay, we're comfortable with chickens. Then we got some meat chickens, and we started raising our own pasture, poultry, meat birds. And then we did that for the same thing, garden chickens to meat chickens for a good 2 years. And then after that, it was hey, we can grow some more chickens. and then let's get pigs. We got 2 pigs. And so going from chicken to pigs was scary for us, because we're like, man, pigs are so large. They're just, they could just bulldoze us over,
Right.
if they wanted to. And just getting over our fear of that was a challenge. But just by the act of doing it, just getting our hands dirty and just getting a couple pigs and just figuring it out, we started to get more comfortable with that idea. And now we moved on to 2 beef cows, going from pigs to 2 cows, 2 steers that we have now. That's another challenge, because those guys are even bigger.
Right.
And so it can be scary at first, but you just kind of have to, I guess just trust the process, like just figure it out and learn and trust that, okay, this is why we're here. We're here to grow our own food. We're here to figure it out. We're here to be a little bit more self-sufficient. And if we could think of it that way, and like, okay, this is all baby steps, then everything's going to be okay.
Right. Figure out how to raise the cows so you don't have to go back to an office job.
Correct.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the goal.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people undervalue the impact that finding your community and having a community has. And I think a lot of times, because of capitalism, essentially, a lot of us have lost that. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a homesteading community, just your community in general. And I think it's so beneficial to have that connection, and very, very glad that you found that. So we were talking with Jason Contreras. He's passionate about growing food, homesteading with his family, and has a wonderful YouTube channel. Can you talk about your YouTube channel? What is it, and what kind of great information can people find on it?
Yeah, so we have a YouTube channel called Sow the Land. That's SOW the Land. And we started it about 6 years ago, just after we had moved here. And it's really about just sharing our journey of a family moving from LA to the mountains of North Carolina and trying to figure out this lifestyle of homesteading, of farming, and it's just sharing our journey. And whatever it is that we're learning along the way, we're just sharing it on our channel, and hopefully we can inspire other people and also teach other people of how to, grow their own food, not be afraid of change, not be afraid of larger animals, and then, we're sharing our mistakes, and we're saying, hey, we're not perfect. We're just normal, everyday family that's just trying to figure out and trying to live a life that we are proud of. And that's what we share on our channel. And it just kind of grew from, it's slowly been growing over 6 years, and we're at over 190,000 subscribers. And, we're just keep at it. We're posting maybe at least two videos a week. And, we're just trying to share the journey.
Well, with that homesteading going to being a homestead, what are 2 reasons why you would tell people not to start a homestead?
Yeah, not to start a homestead. For sure, if your spouse or significant other was not on board.
Right.
I think both of you guys need to be on board. Like, if you're going to really do this, because this, for us, it wasn't just me who wanted this lifestyle. It wasn't just my wife either. It was both of us. This is both of our dreams. And we both really believe this, that if we both weren't on board, then it wouldn't happen. We wouldn't make this work, because one of us would probably be miserable, honestly,
right?
Because it's a lot of work, we both need to be able, even our daughter now, when we first moved here, she was 4, now she's 11. And she's just basically grew up in this lifestyle, and she's all about it too. She really enjoys everything. And so that's super important, I think. For us too. I mean, that's been a major role, is that we both were on board.
Right. And because if you're pushing one way and they're pushing the other, you're not going to accomplish anything, and somebody's going to get mad and it's going to be a failure. It's absolutely going to fail.
Right. And then also, you don't have to, necessarily leave, sell it all, do what we did, sell it all and move across the country. But you could also still have the homestead mindset in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's really a mindset. It's not like how much land you have or how many animals you have. It's really, you could be doing it in an apartment, and then that's important to say too, because maybe if a spouse is not on board and you're in the city, I think just by you doing the things, like maybe one person has the homestead mindset and the other one don't, I think they might come around.
Right.
I think just by you being excited to grow that food and the other person's not, they see your excitement. They're like, okay, I see it. I get it. I think it can be contagious is what I'm saying.
Kind of worked for Green Acres.
Yeah.
So, well, Jason, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered us. Again, how can people find your YouTube channel and your website and follow your journey as being a homesteader moving from California to the hills of Carolina?
Yeah, we have our own YouTube channel, Sow the Land, and we're also on, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the social medias. You can find us there, and we're on our website as well. And last few years we've been doing more hands-on workshops at our farm. So a lot of people find great value in getting their hands dirty.
Sow your land, SOW land, LAND. Yeah. Sow the land.
Sow the land. Yeah.
Sow the land. Well, Jason, we thank you for being with us and your wonderful story, and we're happy that you came out of the cancer and things turned for better, not worse, for you and your family, and we thank you for the time you've offered us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Absolutely.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.